Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about deck number 307. Sat down to do the new Chromium and realized I haven't done the old Chromium. So I thought it'd be cool to do them back to back, and they are still the same colors. However, I wanted to go in a vastly opposite approach with both of them. Now, the reason why I hadn't built this particular Chromium yet was because I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. It's just a big flyer. That's it. Because the rampage ability, let's face it, really doesn't matter. Not in colors that don't use green because you don't have lure effects. But anyway, we're talking 8 drops here, so I wasn't really sure how I was going to build it. Excuse me. So then the new Chromium came out, and I knew exactly where I was going with it. And that made me want to do the opposite with him. So this Chromium don't like people, okay? We don't like nobody. As a matter of fact, he is the only creature in the deck. We're going to win by getting in there with commander damage. He has the magical 7 toughness, so that's 3 hits. The next size up from that is 11, so you can 2-hit somebody or, whatever. But, so let's look at how bad we don't like peoples. We're running a little bit of wrath here. So we're going to clear the board over and over because let's face it, like I said, we're playing an 8-drop and people come out. A lot of times you come out of the gate swinging, you got that soul ring guy, soul ring medallion on turn 1. They're dropping 5 drops on turn 2. So we're just going to blow things up and keep probably blowing them up. Now, granted, this is probably past the critical mass of board wipes, but let's face it, we're going to need it because we got to have time to build up. Got to have it. Divine Reckoning is actually pretty sweet because I get to keep if I draw it after I've got Chromium out there, still get to keep him. Crux of Fate, also pretty sweet. Now, Cleansing Nova, kind of like that. I don't know, and probably in most cases in this deck, because we do have a lot of artifact ramp, we may not be using that. But now, Dingus Staff, with all those board wipes, does kind of give us a little bit of an edge. May actually prove as a half of a win condition. And then, of course, we've got Evac, because I've used Evac for years. And let's face it, I have these, and I don't have a lot of cyclonic drifts. Now, I guess since that was board removal, let's look at individuals removal. Of course, we have the Utter End and Mortify. Now, I like Ether Snap, because Ether Snap is Wrath of Planeswalkers. And most of the time, Hydras. That's right, Jimmy. Coming for you, Hydras. Of course, we have Doomblade, Murder, Disenchant. I use Disenchant quite a bit. If I can run it, I'm using it simply because how many times have we died to artifacts? I realize this seems kind of obvious, but I know one of my buddies says, Brian, you use Disenchant in every white deck. Well, most of the time, because it's a good, there's nothing sucks worse than, I lost to that enchantment, that artifact. Are you playing with Disenchant? Naturalize? Anything? No. Anyway, I'm playing with Afterlife because I think, yeah, they get a 1/1 flyer. More likely than not, that's going to be nowhere near as bad as what you just shot down. Let's see. Got a little counter magic going on. Here, let's look at Ramp first, because Ramp's a big deal when you're talking an 8-mana, 6 specific color general. It's got the Soul Ring to help kind of power it out, Sisei's Ring. But then I wanted to try to focus mainly on color fixing. So it's just a lot of the things that fix colors. Pretty standard run, actually. Because, oh yeah, we got to pay 3 mana during our upkeep just to keep this guy around. Now, granted, he is totally worth it because, you know, he's Chromium. By the way, I would have loved to have seen that old art foiled. Wouldn't that have been beautiful? But now they don't do that because those artists had royalties and stock options and they didn't pay. Anyway, would have loved to have seen it foiled. Oh, yeah, I was talking about counter magic because that's another thing that either once we get him out there or to, I don't, you know, counter target artifact or enchantment spell because that's a, you know, I don't want my dude pacified or things like it. Now, I like the dispersal shield because it's more times than not when you're playing an 8 CMC commander, yeah, it's a hard counter. Of course, if you have your guy out. Of course, we're playing counterspell, rewind, dismiss, mana leak, and undermine. Blast from the past there. Literally blast. But I guess fun stuff now. Do have a mystical tutor to go and find some things. Now, protecting our guy is sometimes necessary if you don't have a counter. This can kind of, if they're aiming something at Chromium and you don't have a counter, you can kind of make this a counter. Whoops, he's gone. And he comes back and he's a new permanent. You know, pretty much a momentary blink style thing. Now, I am running the Eon Hub because, I mean, we've already paid 8 mana for this guy, and we're going to have to keep paying 3 to keep him around every turn. So if we skip our upkeep step, we ain't got to pay that. And, you know, we ain't got to pay other upkeep costs like for Mystic Remora or for like Halls of Mist, because Halls of Mist, they're only attacking every other turn, which is, you know, is pretty good for a land that just essentially cost you a card draw and land drop, didn't cost you any mana. Now, Grave Betrayal with all those board wipes kind of turns it from Leave Me Alone to Miss Castillo Girl. So I really like the Grave Betrayal. But where Grave Betrayal led me was down a rabbit hole of enchantments. So naturally, I went to the propaganda, ghostly prison, sphere of safety route. It's like, well, if I'm going to, you know, copy enchantment, because that seems kind of good. And what can you copy enchantment? Well, maybe you can copy enchantment Pendril Mist. I love Pendril Mist, by the way. It's 4 mana for the same effect that the stupid expensive land is. Granted, Pendril Mist is on the list. I don't know. But I guess it ain't getting any cheaper. Teferi's Moat definitely is totally getting cheaper because, you know, a lot of people view it as not that good. But in a deck where I just need one more enchantment that says you can't attack me, hey, no probs. Battle Mastery. Here we go. I probably would have run that Pro Creatures thing too if I'd have had, you know, any one of the 4 that does it, but giving you 7 power general, double strike, seems like something I want to be a part of. Mind Control. It's better than removal. You know, they're -1, I'm +1. It's a lot of people don't look at control magic cards like that, but you're technically kind of up. If you'd have just played a creature with that 5 mana, you'd have a creature. But with this, it's more like I'm getting the best creature on the board, and I'm destroying the best creature on the board. So that's how I look at it anyway. Of course, Solemnity with Decree of Silence. Yes, I know y'all have seen this recently a couple of times since Solemnity has come out. I've got them in, I think now this is the 3rd deck where I have that pair. I've never drawn them yet. I have never seen this go off in my local group. And I think it's one of those just combos that eventually, if it happens once, and I think I'm actually out of decrees now, so I think this may be it for that particular thing. Thought reflection. Because why not, you know? Breath Stealer's Crypt. Now, this one, hey, we're immune to it. So, everybody's going to draw. And here's the beautiful part. You get to reveal the card that you draw. Now, I know that's most of the time a drawback, but if you reveal a Wrath, that's probably going to choke their hand. They're not going to want to play their creatures. They're not going to want to overcommit, which is a definite strategic advantage. Because they know, and of course, you're going to be like, oh, it's no hiding my life's finale now, or my Phyrexian Rebirth, or whatever I'm going to use to blow up all your stuff. But it does have a advantage there. And then you're not going to be drawing any creatures to have to pay the 3 life. So, either way, Breath Stealer's Crypt, where, as an enchantment, kind of where I want to be. Archmage Ascension. Sure, because more than likely that Mystic Remora is going to net us some cards, and if we can keep it around long enough to where if we can get this thing online, seems pretty sweet. Frank Search is going to help off that cause too, obviously. Now, Brainstorm. Lightning Greaves and Whisper Silk Cloak is going to protect Chromium. That's just what it's there for. Gonna do it. Of course, pull from tomorrow. And my last card, of course, Reigns of Power. Because, hey, let's swap our dudes. More than likely, if I'm thinking about casting Reigns of Power, I'm not going to have any dudes. And this was in blue? Yeah, this was in blue. It grants some haste, gives them a whole team. Yeah, you know, I'll take that sliver army. Anyway, that's what I've got for OG Chromium. Obviously, the next video will be New Chromium, who, you know, doesn't hate people. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.